final accusation that has been recurring over time. Israel is occupying Palestinian land.
Yeah,
What do you
well,
say?
they're looking at land, first of all, that you could say goes back to the title deed of 3,500 years ago, back to the time of Abraham. But it's also something that I find very interesting when people say it's occupying someone else's land. You know, Israel is the only country I know in the modern world that wins a war, captures land that they were fighting for, and then is expected to give up the land that they won, land that they can lay claim to historically as indigenous land to them. If there really was this desire for, let's say, a Palestinian state, from 1948 until 1967, the land that is in Judea and Samaria was under the control of Jordan. It was part of Jordan. East Jerusalem was part of Jordan. In 1967, Israel wins a war that they were surrounded by Jordan and Egypt and Syria, who all attacked them. They win the war, they take the land. There was 20 years that there could have been a Palestinian state. How come there wasn't? In 2005, Israel completely abandons Gaza. They walk away from it. They say, you can have the whole thing. It's a complete Palestinian state. There was a Palestinian state. It was called Gaza. How did that turn out for them? They voted Hamas in power, who then took the billions and billions of dollars of aid that was given by countries across the planet, including the U.S., and instead of building a wonderful economy, building great scenery and extraordinary capacity, as they had some of the most beautiful beaches in all of the world, they in turn built a tunnel system that is larger than the London Underground, not for the purpose of transporting people or making a subterranean subway, but to hide weaponry and to hide their savage terrorists so that one day they could do what they did on October 7th, and that's run over and murder as many Jews as they possibly could. So this notion that they're occupying land, I would say, yeah, they're occupying land that has historically been theirs, and occupying land that they were able to take either by history, by war, or by the designation of some international body, whether it was the Balfour Declaration of 1917, the San Remo Declaration of 1923, the UN Declaration of 1948. Pick one. And, it's hard then to blame that it's Israel's fault that it's living on land that it rightfully has by any number of mechanisms.
The idea of a two-state solution is built on the premise that Israel gives up land and in return it gets peace.
Yeah.
Do you believe in that?
I wish I did. It would be nice to say that's everyone's going to live happily ever after like a fairy tale. But Israel has given up land. They've given up an enormous amount. And they have very little. First of all, Israel's total real estate in the world is a sliver of land that is smaller than the state of New Jersey. It is also a piece of land that is a tiny amount compared to how much Muslim countries control. Right now, Muslim-controlled countries have 644 times the amount of land that Israel has. So if people say we need a Palestinian state, okay, where will it be? What are the boundaries? Show me on a map exactly where it falls. And how does it work so that Israel still has some security guarantee if the nation that has established this Palestinian nation continues to pay people to murder Jews and gives them a lifetime pension and teaches children in the public schools of the Palestinian Authority that it is a wonderful and blessed thing to kill a Jew. If you have that being created and baked into the culture, how close then do you want that country, if you will, you create to work? The Oslo Accords were supposed to create this two-state aspiration, but what's happened is that rather than things getting better, there were still massive terrorist attacks. People forget that in the year 2000, when Bill Clinton was president, He had Yasser Arafat. He had Ehud Barak, the Israeli prime minister. The Israelis put 96% of the land on the table and said, here, we'll give it up. You can have it. We'll walk away. You get all of East Jerusalem, basically everything they wanted. Arafat said no, because it never has been about what the Palestinians got. It was about making sure that Israel didn't get it. And that's where this impasse has settled for all these years. Why didn't Arafat take that? I think it goes back to what Golda Meir said in 1973. She said, we'll have peace in the Middle East when Arab mothers love their own children more than they hate ours.